Gen Z, millennials, you are polling particularly bad with this group. If you reflect on it, why you think this group is leaving you in very big numbers, because they came out to vote for you in 2015, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we worked with them 8 years ago to reverse a government that didn't do anything on climate change, that didn't believe in inclusive economic growth, kept with trickle down, give tax breaks to the wealthiest. We managed to turn that around significantly. And we're in a really good position when the pandemic hit. And then the past few years have been really, really hard, particularly on young people, where there is now a sense not just of the challenges of paying for groceries or paying for rent or anything, but the idea of home ownership, the idea of a really strong, exciting future seems further and further away now than it did just a few years ago. And that loss of hope and optimism is devastating for people's morale. Of course, they're gonna grumble at government, and they're gonna say that the world's going in the wrong direction, and we have to step up and make sure we're solving for that.
I just want to throw some numbers at you. So when asked if they had a positive or negative impression of you, 56% of millennials and Gen Z said negative, 27% said positive. And do you take any responsibility for them turning away from you? I mean, certainly you've described their circumstances, right? But do you think you could have or should have done more for them?
I think I can continue to do more for them. I think one of the things that is real is whether it's coming out of the pandemic that was such a kick in the teeth to everyone, whether it's the war in Ukraine that's affecting food prices and energy prices, whether it's the global economic slowdown that's driving up interest rates and driving up inflation. These are things that really, really have tangible impacts, not just on people's daily lives, but on how they see the future. So yes, a government is always going to wear what's going on.
I find it extremely difficult to sit through a whole video with him. Just the sound of his voice, just after these last few years and what has gone on, I just find him, we need a new prime minister. Let's just say that. I think one of the reasons why Gen Z has moved on from him, was it Winston Churchill who said this? If you don't vote Liberal by the time you're 25, you don't have a heart. But if you don't vote Conservative by the time you're 35, you don't have a brain. So what's happening is Gen Z's just grown up. That saying is often attributed to Winston Churchill, although they don't know exactly who said it, but that's what's happening. They can barely survive, they can't afford to buy a home, they can't afford the Trudeau government, so they're looking for new leadership. As Thomas Hobbes said, we do not have to be loyal to a government who cannot look out for our best interests. For more discussions on politics, philosophy, and just becoming an educated person, make sure you hit subscribe and join the waitlist for my community. The link is in my bio. Remember, an uneducated mind is an enslaved mind.